What's up, guys? Steve Walls here alongside Darren Smith. We are here at SoFi Stadium post-game. Chiefs have defeated the Los Angeles Chargers. I was getting ready to say the Las Vegas Raiders. Seems like any of these West Coast away trips end up being the same every year, Darren.
Yeah.
17-10, the Chiefs defeat the Los Angeles Chargers. Initial thoughts about this game?
Well, even when they were down 10-0, I didn't really have any doubt that they would find a way to win. That's they've been literally dealing with adversity week in and week out, going down to the wire. And talking to some of the players after the game, they never felt like they were out of it at all. And of course, we'll talk about the big injury that was suffered. But overall, I mean, offensively, there's some struggles at the quarterback position. But overall, I mean, I give the team. Well, we'll talk about the great stuff later on, but defensively, the Chiefs' defense came through for them once again.
Yeah, and let's start there. Let's start with the quarterback, the one and only Patrick Mahomes. He didn't have a Patrick Mahomes-esque day, of course. He
hasn't had a Patrick Mahomes season. He credit to the equipment department. Alan Wright. Shout out to Alan Wright.
Yeah. He hasn't had that Patrick Mahomes magic, Patrick Mahomes, Showtime Mahomes. He hasn't had that kind of game yet this season. And what do you feel like you attribute that to?
I don't know. You know what? I said it earlier when we were in the press box. I don't know whether or not he says it, but I don't know whether or not he actually has to. If you feel like he still trusts his receivers again, because. Outside of Rashee Rice and, of course, the connection he has with Travis Kelce, you had the one touchdown to Juju last week in Atlanta, and, of course, the two touchdowns in the first game with Worthy. But outside of those, those touchdowns, there really hasn't been any consistent play from the other wide receivers on the team. And so, obviously today he was able to, hit a bomb to Xavier Worthy, which, would really, outside of that was really like the only real big play that he had. In connection with Worthy. And so I mean, that's the only thing that I can even try to put my finger on, that he still may not trust some of the other wide receivers on the team.
I feel like he trusts them. I just feel like they're not doing enough. That's just my opinion, but yeah. I just feel like they're not doing enough to get open. They're not doing enough to I guess satisfy him, right? Like you look at today, and we can start with Rashee Rice. Yeah. He goes down. Looks like he may have suffered an ACL tear, and so he goes down, and you're left with Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Watson. You're left with McCole Hardman, also Sky Moore, and Xavier Worthy.
Here's the thing, I felt like it kind of came back to bite me. I asked Matt Nagy on Thursday, what did what did McCall Hardman and Sky Moore need to do to get more reps on the field? Because I just went back and looked at the last 3 games. They hadn't had any targets. So, I mean, they hadn't had any reps in the first 3 games. And, he talked about, obviously the depth that they have, but that, that they still practice is set to be ready. And the fact that as soon as I met this week, today they come and, they played, and, I'll let people judge, how they think they did themselves. But from what we discussed, they are going to have to go out and get a wide receiver. There has to be a new wide receiver on the active roster come next week.
I can second that notion. However, you think about the fact that McCole Hardman wins the Super Bowl for them, at the end of the game last year. And years prior to that, he was a deep threat, at least somewhat of a deep threat down the field. Yeah. And to go from that to, I would say regress to where you are now, not being that option down the field, I don't think it's a night and day change. Like, what do you feel like has brought that on from just McCole Hardman?
I don't know, because, I mean, I can't say life. I mean, he's been – look, he's not a stranger to the system. He's not a stranger to Mahomes. He's not a stranger to the offense. I don't know. It's funny, for someone, who likes the fancy stuff and knowing a lot of things, I don't have an answer to that, because I don't know why it doesn't seem like after, 5-6 years, that he's still not producing at the level that Chiefs fans would hope that he would be producing right up and down, especially when, one of the things that I talked to one of the players about in the locker room, and I'll get to that in a second because it deals with the offensive line. Reps and having the opportunity. The thing is, this is your 6th year. Mm-hmm. Granted, you spent a brief time in New York for coming back here, and like you said, you helped. I mean, you had the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, so we know your value, we know your worth, and we know obviously special teams with you, but you're also needed to diversify, and we need you on the offense. Being able to contribute. Patrick on offense, deep threat, across the middle, whatever it takes, and we're not seeing it. And why, I just don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of head scratching. However, the deep threat, we talked about that. Deep shot taken to Xavier Worthy in this game, and it honestly, and I posted this to social media. That was kind of a breath of fresh air for not only Patrick Mahomes, but it also took the breath out of the Chargers and also out of the fans that were in here today.
Well, and look, and to an extent, Worthy, because look, people start there chirping. Yeah. After his first game where he had the 2 touchdowns, but people say, well, it was a broken play, and I think I talked about it on our Red Eye show. He's got 4.2 speed. He runs faster than Tyreek. And everybody's like, well, it's track speed, football speed. I'm like, he's still running 4.2. Mm-hmm. Regardless, that's fast. Right. Utilize it. And for me, it's always been like, well, Patrick seems to it seems like he's underthrowing sometimes. Today, he chucked that ball in the air.
And he said post-game, after he was asked about it, he said that, he told him, if the safety doesn't commit, I'm throwing it to you. Yeah. He said, if the safety doesn't commit, I'm throwing it as hard as I can. You just go get it. And he said that's what he did.
And again, I like to think that's something that Patrick talked about doing this summer anyway. With Hollywood Brown and Toe and Rasheed, we thought we would see more of the deep passes that we haven't seen as much. So for him to connect, which is crazy because I know they showed it to the fans that was his first 50-yard touchdown pass. Mm-hmm.
Since 2022.
Since December 2022, which is kind of hard to believe that it's been almost 2 years that it's been that long. But, we know why last year. So the fact that he's got it, and the thing is, I feel like he can do it more often if the defense allows it. But Patrick, again, he's been known for having a strong arm and being able to throw deep. But he really, at times when he throws it, at least attempts to throw the deep, seems like he's underthrowing the receiver. So, again, as it relates to what he was able to do, I'm happy for him because it was like a sigh of relief. And again, for something like that, it builds confidence for, with Mahomes because, again, it's been 18 months since he's been able to throw a pass that deep and it's connected. Obviously for Worthy because, he's able to, score, contribute, and show off his speed. And then it also it did allow them to keep the defense honest because now the defense had to worry about that deep threat. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't bunch up and get after Mahomes as much as they wanted to.
And you mentioned keeping the defense honest. The one and only Kareem Hunt made his debut today. First carry from scrimmage, 9 yards.
Look, man, I've been wanting this dude to be back on the team since they cut him. And like I said, I got a media friend that says that Kareem Hunt, while he was in Cleveland, was on 3 wheels. I'm like, man, y'all just ain't used him properly. Mm-hmm. And today, 14 carries, 69 yards. Look,
that's coming off the street.
And look, I knew. Obviously, Carson still has some issues. Mm-hmm. Had another fumble, and it was, I guess, first drive for on the opening drive for the Chiefs. And so, the Chiefs, knowing that this was going to be a battle, they put him back out there a couple of times later. But this was too important of a game and how it went that you don't rely on the rookie. In this particular game, you leave it up to the veterans. P. Ryan, contributed with the five carries, 14 yards. But really, this was, and we talked about all this week. It was more about getting Kareem Hunt back out there. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I'm disappointed in, I'm really disappointed in. Caught a couple of screen passes, but there was one in particular that had Patrick not gotten knocked down, I think Kareem would have got some great yardage. So, but look, overall, the man had 85 yards from scrimmage today in his first time, being with the Chiefs since 2018.
And someone posted on our YouTube Live, Kareem Hunt is the truth. Yeah. It's great to have a power running option that can run between the tackles and eat up the clock. That's true. So when you have, and we can't forget about Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh yeah,
right. He should be back. I think he posted on social media. I feel like he'll be back next week.
Yeah, he was out 4 games. So.
Yeah, so I think that gives that 1-2 punch where Clyde is able to have speed as well, the same as with Isaiah Pacheco, and he also has the out of the backfield catch option similar to Kareem Hunt. So teams will have to, or defenses will have to play this Chiefs offense honest.
Here's the thing, man. I mean, I don't know, because even though he can come back next week again, when getting back in the football shape, being that, because I don't think he's practiced since he's been on the IR. Right. So I don't know if he's going to be able to play next week. But be that as it may, the fact that what you're able to get from Kareem, and look, we kind of talked about it when Pacheco comes back. I think Kareem is, as long as everything's going to be on up and up with him. Just that 1-2 punch with he and Pacheco, when Pacheco does come back, it's going to be scary because now you can put both of them on the field, because Kareem can stay, once he's really back in the football shape, he doesn't have to come off the field. Right. He can line up to the outside and you have Perine in the backfield or still in the backfield, and the thing is, he's just able to show his versatility. And as I told a gentleman from USA today, I said the thing about Kareem is that he wants to make it right, for whatever. And so I mean, so every time he gets the ball, I mean, people talking about, again, I tell people all the time, Pacheco running hard stuff, that's just what we had when we had Kareem Hunt. So now that you got the originator back here, I mean, it's, man, again, the only thing that's missing, well, now you kind of saw it. You had the speedy outside Woodworthy. Mm-hmm. You had Travis Kelce underneath, and I know we'll talk about him in just a second. And then you had Kareem Hunt back. I mean, it was kind of like, literally, had you had Tyree, it would have been like the gang being all back once again. And so what I like to see, though, is something, and we talked about it pregame, some of the other wide receivers stepping up.
Right.
And that's what's missing, because what's going to end up happening is now that Rashee Rice is out and done for the season.
Well, we don't want to put that out.
Okay, well, he's going to be out for a minute.
Yeah,
he's going to be out for a minute. So what you don't want to have happen is teams, what they've been trying to do, double, triple team Kelce, and again, still force Patrick to beat you with everyone else. Mm-hmm. Now, had it came down to it today, I mean, we saw, again, outside of Kelce and Worthy, Noah Gray contributed a little bit, 1 or 2 catches from Watson. I mean, yeah. That's the issue that has to be addressed this week.
Yeah, and you mentioned Travis Kelce. There's been a lot of talk about Kelce being washed, Kelce being, old, Kelce, not being focused, too worried about Hollywood, the movie scene, his superstar girlfriend, all that. His teammates wore Travis Kelce shirts today. I asked Patrick Mahomes about that, and post game, and he just said, we're a team. They all wore Isaiah Pacheco shirts the week before, so they all hear the noise. And for people to say that all the stuff that they've been saying after the career that he's had thus far, and he's still not finished, they wanted to show support for their big homie, right? And so Kelce came out today and balled.
Well, but again, we talked about it pregame. Mm-hmm. He wasn't washed. It was just the defense was taking him out the ball game. I mean, as a defensive coordinator, if I'm trying to beat the Chiefs and he's the number one option, mm-hmm. I'm trying to get him out the game. I'm because, again, you have to remember, this team still has to prove, a la like last year, that that the other receivers can beat us. Mm. Now that Rashee, because literally, when Rashee Rice went down, we were in the press box like, damn, what's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? But as I said pregame, you're going to need somebody else to step up. And, so Patrick doesn't go to Rashee Rice 14 times in a ball game and 4 times to Kelce, and then everybody else. So now he was forced to. And now, again, it helped that you had Kareem Hunt to where you can kind of, reestablish that running it, because now you got a balanced offense. Again, if you can bring that going against New Orleans, because they got a pretty good defense as well.
Of course they do.
You bring that up against New Orleans and teams, the 49ers as well. You keep that offense balanced. And again, if Worthy can, can continue to stretch the field, you help open things up underneath for Travis, hopefully for Juju as well. And then, again, you can spring stuff out, with Kareem Hunt. I mean, I'm not concerned. My biggest concern is the team offensively starting off the way that they did, and generally, since they normally win the coin toss, they kind of wait to see how.
Yeah.
This time around they had to start on offense first, which is, it is what it is.
And we got a couple of questions on our social media feed from Teron Young. He said, "Is Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco better than Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb?" That's a great question, and I'll start. I give my answer first. When you compare, right, you basically comparing Nick Chubb and Isaiah Pacheco, right? Because Kareem Hunt is still Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco is a much different runner. He has a different running style than Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is through the tackles. He's a bruiser. Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco is a bruiser plus some. I think he has a little bit more hip movement. He has a little bit more fluidity, and he's faster.
Well, here's the thing, and no disrespect to Nick Chubb because he's that dude. However, he's not a pass catcher. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. And for me, having Pop and Kareem together, I think weapon-wise is better than Kareem and Nick Chubb. Reason why, Kevin Stefanski was coach of the year twice for the NFL, but for some reason, he couldn't seem to figure out how to utilize Chubb and Hunt together on the field at the same time. And mind you, they were lacking offensive weapons.
They were.
And so for me, it boggles the mind that you had. Look, because we know what Kareem Hunt was here.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, it's going to be a better combination because they will figure out ways to put them both on the field, when he comes back healthy. Mm-hmm. And look, God works in mysterious ways because Kareem Hunt was probably never going to get back to Kansas City unless something of this magnitude happen to Pacheco. And now that he's here, I'm telling you, when Pacheco comes back, man, I don't want to call it, thunder and lightning or fire and ice or whatever, but I mean, those two together, along with, I'm saying those two together, along with Kelsey, along with Worthy, when everything gets
look, and Teron also said, why I say Travis is distracted is because of his extra weight in the midsection. No disrespect, but it has taken a toll, and he is fighting to get back. Me and Kelsey. He's never been. Kelsey has never been a thin guy. He's the same dude. Just because, and I'm not defending him. I'm just saying what I see. Just because you see him drinking, you see him, having a great time, that doesn't take away from the athlete that he is.
He does that in the off season.
Of course, if
that's the case, Mahomes drinks too.
He's like Travis Kelsey, from what I see, is a specimen of an athlete, right? Like you still see him playing all game. Of course, he's over 30 years old. The hits take a toll on your body. Right, the season takes a toll on your body. 17 games plus postseason, it takes a toll. And for him, it could be quiet as kept. It could be them saying, "Hey, we're not going to put this out there, but we want you to be healthy for the longevity and the long haul. You may not get the Travis Kelsey that fans see. The Travis Kelsey that we see. Hold up, the Travis Kelsey that we saw today. You're not going to get that from week 1. You'll get that from week 7 to the Super Bowl." I would much rather have, and let me ask Teron this. Would you rather have a Travis Kelsey that you saw today and not make it to the Super Bowl, or would you rather have a Travis Kelsey from week 1 through week 6 or 7 that's kind of subpar and you make it to the Super Bowl because he's balling out the rest of the and you guys on social media, if you're watching this, you can answer that question too.
I'm going to say, I don't know, we'll talk more about it tomorrow on the Red Hour, but for me, I wouldn't be surprised. It might not be said, but it could be understood. I need you to Randy Moss this thing. Because, again, mind you now, if he knows the play's not coming to him, or if it's a run play and he's out there, he's not, he'll block. You know what I'm saying? But but if he has to go out and fake like he's going fast, he doesn't have to go full speed.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he can he can take a play off here and there, you know what I'm saying, if it's not going his direction, or the pass isn't coming to him. I mean, because if he knows that the pass is going deep, yeah, he can fake like he's, you know what I'm saying, gonna go, do a certain route, a curl or something like that, they have to go at full speed. But you're doing enough to draw the defense to you,
right,
while Mahomes is throwing the ball deep. I mean, he can just pick and choose the spots when he's getting rest out on the field. I mean, look, man, he's fine, man. The man is not distracted. It's just the defense is. The other team gets paid to stop the Chiefs too. They're just doing a better job this year of focusing on Kelsey because, again, when it was time for the playoffs, Kelsey was the number one option and was the number one player offensively throughout the playoffs last year when the Chiefs won that Super Bowl. He was first in yardage, touchdowns, all that stuff. Dude, teams are just keying up on Kelsey. It is not washed. He's not out of shape. The man, even when he travels, he works out. He was at camp every damn day. He practiced. He's fine. He's not out of. He's not washed.
We watch him day in and day out.
Yeah, I mean, dude.
Here's the thing about that. You can put some of the onus on Mahomes.
You put a lot of it on Mahomes
because there was a few plays where, if you look in game 1, game 2. Where Travis was open. I mean, Travis was open in the end zone, and Patrick Mahomes decided to throw it to the offensive lineman. So I mean, there's
another time I think he tried to throw it to I don't know if it was 83 or if it was Steele on the outside by the sidelines. Like, and look, we're gonna call a spade a spade. It's because of Mahomes. Rashee Rice is injured. I mean, because one, if he doesn't throw the interception, we ain't talking about it. But then say he throws the interception, come back. Try to force the fumble. He takes out Rashee Rice's. I mean, don't
get us wrong. It wasn't purposely.
But I'm saying, but there's a cause and effect for everything.
Yeah, and he said he admitted that in postgame. So we're not saying anything that you guys haven't already heard. Give a grade for this Chiefs team today, and you guys on social media watching this, give this Chiefs team a grade. And while you're thinking about that, Teron said, thanks for answering the questions. He would like to have week 6 to 7 and then go to Super Bowl. I thought you might say that. Thanks for watching us, though. Keep the answers, questions coming. Give us a grade for the Chiefs. Chiefs as total team today. Give us a grade on this win.
Now, I got to break this down because, just because how you did pregame when I give you a little extra grace. Mm-hmm. Defensively, I'm going to give them a B+. I can't give them an A because they started fast. The Chargers started fast, and even the players.
B+.
Because look, I said that because Chargers came down the field and scored right away after the turnover, and it put them on the hill. And even the players said that that's what they got to work on to make sure that they get that part worked out. But from that first touchdown on their opening drive after the turnover, they held them to a field goal the rest of the entire game. I mean, and trust me, they had many opportunities inside the red zone, inside the 5-yard line, where the defense, I mean, and then every time they try to go for the 4th down, turnover on down. So I give them a B+.
I'm not gonna be that gracious.
Okay, well, I'll give you now, but I'll just defense.
So you're giving?
No, I got to separate it.
I'm talking. No. As a whole. No. This ain't breaking it down.
No. I gave you grace for you to have your extra X factor.
Okay.
So, special teams.
Are we going special teams too?
Well, because breaking it down, special teams. Harrison Bucket missing that 65-yarder, man. I told him, I said, man, you can't do that, man. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting you live your Maga life, brother. You can't be out here missing these kicks. So. I'm gonna give them. Give me an A anyway. The 65 yards, and then offensively, man, quarterback play C, running back play B- because of Carson Steele's fumble, wide receivers C, Travis Kelce A, tight end A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
so
coaching, coaching A.
So what I got from you, I got 3 A's,
no, you don't.
2 C's. Yes, I do. Bro, I kept 3 A's, 2 C's.
Oh, what I gave A to was Kelsey.
You gave Kelsey A?
And special teams.
Yeah, special teams. No, you gave somebody else an A.
No, okay, I guess coaching.
Yeah, coaching. Okay. So 3 A's, 2 C's, and a B.
Okay.
So that's 6 grades.
So that averages out to a B. There's an average out to a B.
Okay.
I don't know.
I guess that's 3.0. That's
at least 2.9. Yeah.
2.9, 777. Rounded it up.
Right.
So for me, I'm not going to be as gracious as giving them a B average. I'm as a team as a whole, I'm going to give them a C.
Steve.
Yeah, no.
Saying it with your chest.
I am. Just because you got to listen to this.
Okay.
We talked about it in our pregame show. And for you guys that are just not tuning in, finding out about us, we do the pregame cheat sheet before 1 hour before each and every game, whether it's on the road, whether it's at Arrowhead Stadium, GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. So, tap in with us pregame. Hang out with us, learn some stuff that you may not know to look forward to the game. So back to my grade, C. And I would say this, we talked about it pregame. This had to be a get-right game for the Chiefs offense. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes' first 3 weeks of the season has talked about the offense not playing well, Travis Kelce not playing well. Kelce did, revitalize the season.
7 catches, right? 89.
So that being said, the offense still didn't play good.
Oh, agreed.
The offense still didn't play good. I mean, you can't continue to have these. And I know, and asked Andy Reid this earlier this week, with all the close games that this team has been having these past few weeks.
Playing with fire.
Is that tough on a team? Like, you're having all these close games this early in the season. That can be tough mentally, physically, draining. And Andy Reid said there's just a lot of parity in the league, they give him coach speak. But I feel like you can't keep having these close games like this because, and you just said it, playing with fire, at some point, luck is going to run out. Right?
Yeah, Lady Luck.
Yeah, at some point, and granted, this ain't new. They've been doing this. I mean, you were down in all the Super Bowls that you played in. So I guess you have that under your belt and what you can lay your hat on. But as far as the way that this team is built, you can't keep relying on your defense week in and week out.
Let me ask you this.
So that's my C.
What playing with fire, so to speak. I mean, I don't know, man. I can't phrase the question the way I want it without it coming out, without it making it sound strange. But it just, I don't know, man. I just think that they're because the way you're talking and the way you're describing it, again, you're going to be in a situation where you find, for me, it's disheartening because we talked about it today. They were 10.5-point favorites. And the fact that,
they won by 7?
Yeah, they won by 7. But the fact that you're playing a team that is without Joey Bosa, without both of their tackles, their starting tackles, and Justin Herbert limping most of the game, and the fact that most of this game you were trailing, 10-0 before, 10-7, and then 10-10, and then you take the lead, but it should never. I mean, you can't. Again, like you said, you put so much pressure on the defense where it's a bend don't break. Eventually, the dam is going to break, and it's going to be because of the offense. Because for whatever reason, and the good thing is you can't blame American Bieniemy for this. They're not putting the players in position to get open. They're not putting players in position to score. They seem to have a hard time sometimes when they get into the red zone. I just don't know, man. I mean, they got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because against a team as depleted as the Chargers were, and yes, I know they get paid to play as well, regardless, next man up. But you still had the better talent on this field, and it never should have been that close.
Yeah, and another reason the offensive line didn't play well today either.
Yeah.
Early on in the game,
Jawan Taylor had way too many tackles. Talked to him in the locker room. He. It's one thing to take ownership of it, but still, you got to clean it up. So this week, the one good thing in a win like this, Andy this week can still put the tape on, talking to the players, and be able to coach them like we might have won, but you got to clean this up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and even though, they had a lot, we still got to make sure we give high praises to Wanya Morris.
Oh, yeah.
Because I talked to him after the game today. And just asked him, from his time getting the chance to start last year, and then losing his starting position, and then kind of getting it back, what did he take away from it? What did he learn from it? Yeah. And he said consistency. He said that's what they wanted to work on. I asked him, I said, if you could give yourself a grade for the day, what would it be? He told me an A. He said, but it wasn't easy, because he was going up against Khalil Mack a lot today,
Yeah.
and but he said he got a chance to learn from it. I don't think he gave up a sack on his end.
Oh, he did.
You know what I'm saying? But again, that's good for him because now he knows coming up next week.
Yeah.
He's got Cam Jordan, and then 2 weeks after that, he's got Nick Bosa. So for me, at least he's learned. He's learning, i.e., either from his mistakes or what he has to do to keep his position so he don't lose it again. So, I mean, I like that because that's growth.
Of course. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us this post game. We know it's around 7:47, going on 8 o'clock here or in Kansas City. Remember, you can catch myself alongside Darren Smith, DJ Q, and Sean Tyler tomorrow for the Red Hour, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Be there, be square, watch us right online, whatever platform you're watching us on. We'll be broadcasting 6:30 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, Darren, you have anything?
Yeah, next Monday night, Steve and I doing the pregame show. Yeah. I think kickoff is at 7:15, so we'll probably go at 6 o'clock, probably either 6:15. Yeah. Live from Arrowhead on Monday.
Yeah.
And so
the following Monday.
Yeah, the following Monday, and then of course we'll have the Red Hour the next day on that Tuesday. So, so at least not since open weekend we get a chance to watch football on Sunday. Just a chance to kind of rest some. So,
it is.
But make sure you follow us on social media at Darren Smith WHB, at Steve Walls KC, and of course join us again for the Red Hour tomorrow.
Appreciate you guys joining in.
Peace.